Listen carefully because what you're about to hear is the real story behind one of the most embarrassing public moments Harry and Meghan have had since leaving the royal family, and by the end of this video you're going to understand exactly why the boos at Dodger Stadium were so loud, what it exposed about their failing Hollywood strategy, how Meghan is using Harry to prop up a lifestyle brand that isn't landing, why their money situation might be a lot more fragile than people think, and why even California, the place they thought would worship them, is starting to reject them. The crowd roared, the cameras moved, the stadium waited, and then it happened. Not cheers, not applause, booing. Loud, clear, sustained booing echoing through Dodger Stadium the second Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's faces popped up on the Jumbotron during Game 4 of the World Series. Harry's reaction said everything. That stiff smile, that little awkward laugh, the eyes that immediately dropped because he knew exactly what was happening. This wasn't adoration. This wasn't America embracing the exiled royals. This was thousands of people saying in real time, "We're not buying it anymore." Meghan, of course, did what Meghan always does. The camera hit, and she flipped straight into performance mode. Big smile. Wave. Let me sell you dream energy. Except the stadium wasn't playing along. And this is where it gets interesting because this wasn't just a random night out where two celebrities happened to be seen. This appearance was part of a rollout. The exact same day Meghan's latest American Riviera Orchard drop went live, complete with $64 candles, $63 honey pots, super curated copy about California warmth and fairy tale love. They just happened to show up at one of the most watched sporting events of the week, in the best seats, knowing the cameras would find them. That's not coincidence. That's strategy. It was a visibility hit, a traffic driver, a make sure Meghan is trending today move. And it blew up in their faces. Because instead of people talking about her new holiday collection, the conversation became, did they really just get booed at the World Series? Why were they sitting in front of actual legends? Why does Harry look so miserable? And once again, Meghan's attempt to manufacture buzz turned into a public referendum on how deeply unlikable they've become. Let's talk about those seats for a second because that's the detail that sent LA sports fans over the edge. Front row, prime camera view, at the World Series, in a stadium that lives and breathes baseball history. Normally, who sits there? Owners. Icons. People who've actually done something for the team. That night, instead of Magic Johnson, a part owner of the Dodgers and a literal Los Angeles god, instead of Sandy Koufax, four-time World Series winner and Hall of Famer, the front was given to Harry and Meghan, two people with zero connection to baseball, zero connection to LA sports culture, zero connection to the Dodgers beyond. We want to be seen. So the real legends, the people fans came to honor, got pushed back to the second row so the ex-royals could do PR. And Dodgers fans noticed. They weren't clapping. They weren't excited. They were insulted. Because LA fans might be tolerant, they might be celebrity-friendly, but they also know entitlement when they see it. And this looked like entitlement. It looked like, we're famous, so we get the best spot, without actually having earned that spot. Harry knew it. You could see it all over him. That tight jaw. That quick nervous laugh. That little I'm going to pretend I don't hear that head shake. That's not a man having a fun night out. That's a man wondering how he ended up in a life where sitting beside his wife is now a risk for public humiliation. And it's getting harder and harder to ignore the pattern. Every time Meghan has something to sell, Harry gets wheeled out. A photo shoot, a podcast launch, a brand drop, a surprise charity moment, a staged interview, a big event. He doesn't look excited for any of it. He looks like he has to be there. And that's because he does. Because the fairytale California brand hasn't actually become the money-printing machine they promised it would be. Netflix cooled. Spotify pulled the plug. The books are already out. And that Montecito lifestyle is not cheap. The mansion, the land, the staff, the security, the image. It all costs. So what's left? Product launches, manufactured buzz, appearances, and a husband she can put next to her to make it look royal. That's why the Dodgers move makes sense. Her new American Riviera Orchard holiday collection drops October 28th. She teased it like it was going to be major. Save the date. Mark your calendar. Fans started speculating. New show? New partnership? Something actually big? And then the big reveal was candles. Fruit spread. Honey. Vibes. More of the same at a high price point under a brand that still hasn't fully caught on. So, if the product itself isn't strong enough to go viral, what do? You create a viral moment. You go where the cameras are. You make sure people are talking about you that day. Meghan understands the modern attention economy. She knows negative attention still funnels people to the brand. But what she miscalculated this time is that the negativity wasn't just people being mean. It was rejection. It was "we're tired." It was "stop trying to make this happen." And it was loud. What made this so brutal was how obvious the disconnect was between the two of them. Meghan was on. Meghan was still selling the fantasy. Harry was done. He looked like a man who wanted to disappear. And people online picked up on that instantly. TikTok, X, Instagram, the clips spread fast. Not because people cared about the launch. Not because people were impressed. But because people were stunned that they got booed in Los Angeles. Not London. Not at an event honoring the late Queen. Not in front of royal traditionalists. In California. At a baseball game. Among people who don't even spend their days thinking about the royal family. That's a different kind of loss. That's not "British tabloids are bullying us." That's "regular Americans don't like us either." Then you add the MLB social post, and it got even more awkward. The leak posted about them being in the front row, and the caption called her Meghan Markle. Not the Duchess of Sussex. Not their Royal Highnesses. Just Meghan Markle. People in the comments pointed it out instantly. No titles. Not royalty. Americans don't care. Why are they in the front row? And when the comment section turns that fast, brands notice. Organizers notice. Other celebs notice. Because celebrities watch what other celebrities are getting dragged for. And lately, Harry and Meghan get dragged a lot. That's why you're seeing a weird silence from the Hollywood people who used to talk them up. Remember the early days? All the "they're so brave" posts. All the "you just don't know what she went through" interviews. Where are those people now? Where are the actresses who used to defend Meghan? Where are the A-listers who used to invite them everywhere? Quiet. Not because they suddenly hate her, but because publicly aligning with Meghan and Harry no longer gives you clout. It gives you backlash. And Hollywood avoids backlash. Even Chrissy Teigen, who will usually say something supportive, something kind, something girl boss why, called Meghan polarizing. Not misunderstood. Not unfairly targeted. Polarizing. That's PR speak for "a lot of people don't like her, and I'm not jumping in that fire." That tells you everything you need to know about how far their stock has dropped. Let's go back to the products for a second, because the products tell you where Meghan's head is. Candle 084. Candle 519. Carefully branded. Carefully described. One tied to her birthday. One tied to her wedding day. Priced at luxury levels, without carrying luxury history. And people instantly clocked the hypocrisy. You trashed the royal wedding on Oprah. You said the royal wedding happened days earlier. You said the big day was just a show for the world. Now you're selling a candle inspired by that exact royal spectacle that cost British taxpayers millions. That doesn't read as authentic. That reads as opportunistic. And the market knows. Because guess what didn't sell out in hours? Guess what didn't crash the site? Guess what didn't have people on waitlists?